Have you ever wondered why companies like Apple, leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., or innovators like Elon Musk seem to have a magnetic pull? People don't just buy what they sell, they believe in what they stand for. That's not luck. That's not marketing. It's because they all started with one powerful thing. Their WHY. Welcome to this deep and emotional walkthrough of Start With Why by Simon Sinek, a book that doesn't just teach you what successful people do, but why they do it. And trust me, once you understand this one idea, it can change how you lead, how you live, and how you inspire others. Now, if you're someone who's feeling lost, stuck in a job you don't love, building a brand, running a business, or even just trying to figure out your next step, this book offers clarity. Real, practical, emotional clarity. Because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And this isn't just a theory. It's backed by real-world stories, brain science, and examples you'll never forget. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to start seeing your life, your goals, and your purpose in a whole new light. Alright, let's start with the heart of Simon Sinek's message, something called the Golden Circle. Now picture this with me: 3 circles, like a target. The outer circle is what? The middle circle is HOW, and the innermost circle, right in the center, is WHY. Now here's the thing. Almost everyone knows what they do. That's the easy part. You're a designer, a coach, a student, a business owner. That's your what. Some of us know how we do it, our process, our strategy, maybe even our secret sauce. That's the how. But very few of us truly know our why. And by why, Simon doesn't mean to make money or to get famous. He means, what's your purpose? What do you believe in? What gets you up in the morning, even on the hard days? Let's look at Apple, one of the biggest brands in the world. When they market a product, they don't just say, hey, here's a new phone. It's got a great camera. They say, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. That's the why. Then they explain how simple, user-friendly design. And what a sleek phone, a laptop, an iPad. This inside-out approach makes them stand out, not because of what they sell, but because of what they believe. Now let's make this real. Meet Rohit Sharma. No, not the cricketer. He's a 29-year-old software developer from Pune. Rohit wanted to start a YouTube channel teaching tech tutorials. He worked hard, posted videos consistently, but nothing clicked. The views were low. The motivation? Lower. Why? Because he was stuck in the what. I make coding videos. That wasn't inspiring, not for him and not for viewers. Then one day, he paused. He asked himself, why am I doing this? And the answer came, I want to empower young coders to build confidence and earn a better future using their skills. Boom. That was his why. Suddenly, his videos changed. They had purpose. He spoke differently. His energy shifted, and people felt it. Guess what happened next? His channel started growing fast. So here's your first big takeaway. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Your why gives your work life. It makes your brand or your project relatable and emotional. And now that we understand the golden circle, let's go even deeper. Because knowing your why is powerful, but how you communicate it, that's where the magic really happens. Okay, now that we've unlocked what the golden circle is and why matters so much, let's go a step deeper. Simon Sinek makes a bold and beautiful statement in Start With Why. There's a difference between manipulation and inspiration. Let that sink in for a second. Most companies, and let's be honest, even most of us as individuals rely on manipulation to get people to act. You've seen it before. Flash sales, 50% off, limited time offers, pressure to buy now, fear of missing out. These tricks might work once, maybe even twice, but they don't build trust. They don't create loyalty. They don't make someone believe in you. Now compare that to what truly great leaders do. They don't manipulate, they inspire. They speak to something deeper in us. They make us feel something. Take Martin Luther King Jr., one of the most iconic and inspiring leaders of all time. He didn't go on stage and say, here's a 10-step plan to change civil rights in America. He said, I have a dream. He led with why. That simple phrase, I have a dream, touched hearts, stirred souls, and sparked action. Not because of what he wanted to do, but because of why it mattered. And that's a question for all of us today. Are you leading with your dream, or are you stuck in plans, checklists, and tactics? Let's look at another quick example. Imagine Priya, a marketing manager from Bangalore. She wanted her team to care more about the company's campaigns. But every Monday, all she talked about was deadlines, numbers, and targets. People did the work, sure, but nobody was fired up. Then one day, she changed her approach. She gathered her team and said, I believe our work helps small businesses grow and survive. That's why we market. That's why we matter. Suddenly, the room felt different. People weren't just making ads. They were helping someone's dream stay alive. Don't skip over this because here's where the transformation begins. If you've been struggling to connect with your team, your audience, your customers, maybe it's not your skills. Maybe you're just missing that emotional connection. You don't inspire people with what you do. You inspire them with why you do it. And the beautiful part? You don't have to be famous or rich or in charge of a huge company. You can be a teacher, a freelancer, a YouTuber, a student. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you start with why. So now that we know how inspiration works, next, let's talk about the science behind it. Because the reason WHY connects so deeply isn't just emotional, it's biological. Stick with me, the next part will blow your mind. Alright, so now we understand how great leaders inspire action by starting with why. But here's the truth. Just knowing your why isn't enough. Simon Sinek says that to truly live and lead with purpose, there are 3 qualities you must embody consistently. Not just once, not just when it's easy. These 3 qualities are clarity of why, discipline of how, consistency of what. Let's break them down in real, relatable terms. Clarity of why. This is your foundation, your purpose. You have to know why you exist, not in a vague way, but with deep, emotional clarity. It has to come from belief, not just strategy. Think of it like a compass. If you're foggy about where you're going, how will anyone trust you to lead? Take Oprah Winfrey. Her why has always been crystal clear: to uplift, inspire, and help people live their best lives. That clarity shines through in everything she does. Her talk show, her own network, her magazine, her book club, even her social media. People trust her because she never strays from that core purpose. So ask yourself honestly right now, pause this video if you have to. What's my why, and is it clear enough for others to feel it? Discipline of how? This is where most people slip. See, knowing your purpose is one thing, living by it every day, that takes discipline. It means creating guiding principles, values, boundaries, and sticking to them, even when it's hard, even when it's tempting to take shortcuts. Sinek puts it beautifully. You don't earn trust by doing what's right once. You earn trust by doing what's right over and over again. Let's revisit Priya, the marketing manager from Bangalore. After finding her why, she created a rule for her campaigns. Only promote products that actually help customers, not just what makes money fast. And guess what? Her sales improved and her team respected her more. That's discipline in action. Consistency of what? And finally, your what. This is where everything comes together. It's your actions, your products, your behavior, your message. If they don't align with your why people notice and they stop trusting. Imagine someone says their mission is to promote sustainability, but they use plastic packaging, ignore fair labor, and never speak up for the environment. That's inconsistency, and people feel it. But when your what matches your why, that's when people believe in you. Think about Nike. Their why is about pushing human potential. Just do it. Every campaign, every product, every ad, even the athletes they sponsor, all support that message. It's not random. It's not accidental. It's consistency. Key takeaway from this section. You earn trust not by shouting louder, but by staying aligned, disciplined, and consistent. So pause and reflect. Do your daily actions reflect your purpose? Are your habits in line with your principles? Do people feel your why through everything you say and do? If the answer is not always, that's okay. That's where growth begins. Because here's the real power of these 3 principles. They don't just make your message clearer, they make your life clearer. And now that we've got the structure of why, how, and what, let's explore what happens when an organization or a person loses their why. Trust me, this is one of the most powerful truths in the whole book. Don't miss it. Okay, let's go deeper now, because this next part, it's where most people get it wrong. So far, we've talked about clarity, discipline, and consistency. Those are essential, but here's what Simon Sinek drives home in this next section of Start With Why. Your why is not a tagline. It's not just a mission statement you hang on a wall. It's a feeling. It's emotional. It's human. It's the thing that makes your audience go, yes, I believe that too. Let's be real. People don't make decisions purely based on logic. We might think we do, but science and behavior say otherwise. We decide with our hearts and then use logic to justify it. That's why 2 products can be nearly identical, but we feel more loyal to one brand than another. Let's take a look at Tesla, especially in its early days. Tesla didn't win hearts just by making electric cars. Plenty of companies had tried that before. What made Tesla different? Elon Musk didn't start with, "We make cars." He started with a belief. We want to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. That's why. It wasn't about specs. It was about a movement, a revolution, a belief in a better future. That's what attracted early adopters, investors, and even employees, people who felt part of something bigger. You see, when someone truly knows their fellow, why, you feel it in their presence, you hear it in their voice, you sense it in their actions. Let me give you a smaller, more relatable example. There's a young woman named Tina, a fashion designer from Delhi. She started her brand making handmade bags. At first, sales were slow. Why? Because she was leading with what? I make bags. But one day, she flipped the script. She shared her story, how her mother used to sew bags from scraps to support the family. She said, I want to empower women artisans and preserve India's handloom traditions through fashion. Boom. That was her. Why? Suddenly people didn't just want her bags, they wanted to support her cause, her belief. That's the power of a law. Why? That comes from the heart. And here's something powerful Sinek reminds us. People don't follow you because of what you do. They follow you because of what you believe. So now, I want you to pause and ask yourself, and really be honest. When people interact with your work, your business, your content, your presence, do they feel your why? Do they get that emotional connection? Or are you still leading with just your what and hoping it sticks? And hey, if your answer is not yet, that's okay. This isn't about guilt. It's about growth. Because now that you know this, you have a chance to realign, to dig deeper, to reconnect with the thing that moves you, so you can move others. And here's the best part. When you lead from your why, you don't have to chase people. They'll find you. They'll follow you. Not because of what you offer, but because of what you stand for. Now you might be wondering, okay, I get it. But how do I actually discover my why? That's what we'll talk about next. So don't stop here, because what comes next is the most practical and powerful part of the entire book. This is where your real transformation begins. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't this all just feel-good motivation? Great question. But here's the truth. This isn't fluff. It's biology. Simon Sinek isn't just giving us philosophy. He's explaining how the human brain actually works. And once you understand this part, everything clicks. So remember the golden circle? We talked about 3 layers: what, how, and why. Now here's where it gets fascinating. That model, it matches the biology of your brain almost perfectly. Let me break it down. The outer circle, the what, that's your neocortex. It's the part of your brain responsible for logic, language, numbers, and reasoning. It helps you understand facts and figures. But the inner 2 circles, the how, and especially the why, they align with your limbic brain. And this is where things get really interesting. Your limbic brain has no capacity for language. That's why sometimes when you make a decision, you can't explain it. You just say, I don't know. It just felt right. Sound familiar? That's because your limbic brain is where emotions live. It's where trust is built. It's where loyalty comes from. And most importantly, it's where decision-making happens. So when you lead with why, you're not just being poetic. You're speaking directly to the emotional core of your audience's brain. You're speaking the language of feeling, not just thinking. And let's face it, that's what truly drives action, right? We think we're rational creatures, but more often than not, we buy, follow, love, and believe based on emotion, and then we back it up with logic. Ever bought something you didn't need because it spoke to you? That's limbic. That's the power of why at work. Think about when Steve Jobs introduced the first iPod. He didn't say, it has 1 gigabyte of storage. Nope, he said, 1,000 songs in your pocket. That made you feel something. It was simple, emotional, memorable. He wasn't selling specs. He was selling belief. That's what great communicators do. They don't just fill your head. They move your heart. And once your heart is moved, the head usually follows. Let's bring this back to you for a second. If you're a business owner, a creator, a leader, or even a job seeker, how are you communicating right now? Are you starting with what the features, the resume, the product? Or are you starting with why, the belief, the cause, the mission? Because once you understand this biological connection, you realize this isn't just theory. It's human nature. When you speak from the inside out, from why to how to, what you're aligning with how people actually think and feel. You're not pushing them to act. You're pulling them into a story they already want to believe in. And trust me, once you master that, your ability to influence, inspire, and connect will never be the same again. Let's take everything we just learned about the biology of why, and now let's see how it plays out in the real world. Because here's a truth most people never think about. Loyalty isn't built on what you sell. It's built on what you believe. Let me repeat that, because this might be the most important thing you hear today. Loyalty doesn't come from products. It comes from shared purpose. Simon Sinek uses a brilliant example to explain this: Southwest Airlines. Now, they're not the flashiest airline. No first class. No big meals. Sometimes, not even assigned seats. But you know what? People love them. People trust them. People stay loyal year after year. Why? Because Southwest didn't just sell flights. They sold a belief. Their why: to make air travel accessible to everyday people and treat passengers like family. And they've stuck to that through thick and thin. Now here's the twist. Even when other airlines offered lower prices or fancier options, Southwest's customers stayed loyal. Not because of what they offered, but because of why they did it. Remember the limbic brain we talked about? That part of your brain that doesn't understand numbers or features, but totally understands feelings? That's where loyalty is born. People don't just want products anymore. They want to belong. They want to feel like they're part of something. That's why when you build your brand, your business, or your life around a strong why, you don't just get customers or followers. You build a tribe. You earn loyalty. You create movement. Let's make it personal. Imagine you're a freelance designer. You've got the skills. You've got the portfolio. You can tell people what you do and how you do it. But here's the real question. Why do you do it? Are you helping small businesses bring their ideas to life? Are you passionate about making design more human, more emotional, more inclusive? Because if people believe what you believe, they'll stick with you. Even if someone else comes along, offering a lower price or flashier tools. That's the power of belief. Here's a quick real-world example. Let's take Meera, a 26-year-old from Hyderabad. She started an online clothing brand. At first, she focused just on designs and discounts, and sales were average. Then, she got clear on her why. I want every woman who wears my clothes to feel strong, seen, and celebrated. She began sharing customer stories, showing real women, and talking about body positivity and confidence. Within months, her audience exploded. Not because of cheaper clothes, but because of a shared belief. Here's the bottom line. If people are just buying from you because it's easy or affordable, that's a transaction. But if they come back again and again, even when it's not the cheapest or most convenient option, that's loyalty. And loyalty, that's what changes everything. Ask yourself now, are your customers, your team, your audience sticking with you because they need you, or because they believe in you? Because if it's belief, congratulations. You've got something no competitor can steal. Alright, let's bring it home now, because this is about you. Until now, we've talked a lot about great companies, iconic leaders, and successful brands. But Simon Sinek makes it very clear. It's not just about organizations. Every single person, yes, you has a why. And finding it, that's not some fluffy idea. It's the foundation for a more fulfilling life, a more aligned career, and more meaningful relationships. Simon says something powerful here. Your why is not something you invent. It's something you discover. Let that sink in for a second. Your why already exists. It's buried in your stories, your past experiences, the moments that made you feel alive, proud, fulfilled, purposeful. You don't have to chase it. You just have to stop long enough to listen for it. Let's take an example. Meet Priya, a 32-year-old baker from Chennai. When she first started her business, she thought her why was simple: to make great cakes. Sounds fine, right? But over time, she felt something was missing. Her heart wasn't fully in it. So she took a step back. She looked at her happiest customers, the moments that made her proud, and she realized something deeper. Her cakes weren't just desserts. They were celebrations. They were the centerpiece of birthdays, weddings, promotions, and reunions. They created joyful moments that brought people together. That was her real why. To create joyful moments through food. Once she got clear on that, everything changed. Her packaging got more personal. Her Instagram posts started telling customer stories. Her brand became about moments, not just muffins. And guess what? People felt the difference. They didn't just buy cakes. They became fans. Her business grew, but more importantly, her impact grew. That's the magic of a personal why. So pause now and ask yourself, what moments in your life made you feel the most alive? What do people always thank you for? What's the deeper reason behind what you do? Because once you find your why, your path becomes clearer. Your decisions get easier. And your work, your relationships, even your challenges begin to feel more aligned. Here's one more thing Simon Sinek emphasizes. Your why is like a compass. It doesn't tell you where to go, but it tells you if you're heading in the right direction. Let that be your guide. Don't ignore this part. This is where real transformation begins. So if you're feeling stuck, unmotivated, or lost, don't look outward. Look inward. Your why is already there, waiting for you to notice. And once you find it, you won't just work harder. You'll work with heart. And trust me, that changes everything. So now that you understand the power of why, the real question is, how do you actually use it? Not in theory, but in your real, everyday life. Let's break this down simply. Because this is where it gets real. If you apply just one thing from this section, your life can shift. Seriously. 1. In your job or career, don't just work for a paycheck. Anyone can have a job. But when you understand your why, work becomes something more. It becomes a mission. If you're stuck in a job that drains you, ask yourself, does this work align with what I believe? Am I building something that feels right in my gut, or just checking boxes? You don't have to quit tomorrow, but start noticing. Because when you find a workplace that reflects your values, motivation becomes natural. No one has to push you. You want to show up. You want to do more. Look at companies like Patagonia or SpaceX. People line up to work there not just for salaries, but because the mission speaks to something inside them. And if you're building your own thing, start from why. Don't just chase trends. Build what matters. 2. In your relationships built only on appearance, status, or convenience, they don't last. Or worse, they drain you. Lead with your purpose, not your performance. Be the kind of person who knows who they are and what they stand for. It could be as simple as this. I want to be the kind of friend who uplifts people when they're doubting themselves. I want to build a relationship where we grow, not just coast. When you lead with WHY, you attract people who believe what you believe. And that's when the real magic happens. Simon Sinek puts it this way. When we surround ourselves with people who share our why, trust emerges. And trust, that's the foundation of love, business, teamwork, everything. 3. In your personal growth, let's be honest. It's easy to chase goals that look good on paper. But do they feel good inside? More money, bigger titles, more likes. They're not bad goals, but they're empty without a why behind them. Let's take a real example. Rohit Sharma again, not the cricketer. He's a 29-year-old content creator from Pune. At first, his goals were all surface level. Grow to 100k subs, make X rupees per month. But deep down, he wasn't fulfilled. Then he reconnected with his why. To make tech feel simple and exciting, especially for underdog learners. That clarity shifted everything. Content changed. His tone changed. His audience grew faster than ever. But more importantly, he felt alive doing it. That's what happens when your growth is tied to your purpose. Burnout fades, confidence grows, and decisions become clearer. Let me say this straight from the heart. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a big team. You just need to begin with why. Your why is already inside you. It's in the stories that moved you, the people who inspired you, the moments that made you feel something real. And when you live from that place, you stop reacting, you start leading, you stop proving yourself, you start expressing yourself. This isn't just inspiration. This is biology. This is psychology. This is purpose. So let me ask you again, one final time. Why do you do what you do? Not what your boss wants, not what your parents expect, not what society says is impressive, but you. When you find that answer and live by it, you don't just chase success, you attract it. And that's the difference between living by default and living by design. If you've made it this far in the video, let me tell you something. You're not just curious. You're not just interested. You're ready. Ready to step into a new level of clarity. Ready to build something meaningful. Ready to inspire, not just impress. And that is how movements start. All right. Take a deep breath. You've made it to the end of this journey through Start With Why. And trust me, that already says a lot about you. You're not just a passive listener. You're a seeker, someone who wants to lead, grow, and live a life that means something. So before you click away, let's take a moment to lock in the 7 biggest insights from this powerful book. These aren't just ideas. These are tools you can carry with you every single day. 1. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. This is the golden truth. Whether you're selling a product, applying for a job, starting a movement, or building your brand, the what might get attention. But it's the why that captures hearts. 2. The golden circle. Why right pointing arrow? How right pointing arrow? What? Most people go outside in. The great ones, they go inside out. First, they know their purpose. Then, they define how they'll bring it to life. Finally, they share what they do with the world, with clarity and passion. It's a simple model, but it changes everything. 3. Loyalty and inspiration come from emotion, not manipulation. Discounts, pressure, hype. They might bring temporary success. But if you want long-term trust, if you want raving fans, not just customers, then lead from belief. Lead from why. 4. Clarity, discipline, and consistency bring your why to life. It's not enough to say your purpose. You have to live it. You need clarity to define it, discipline to protect it, and consistency to prove it every single day. This is what builds trust. And trust is the ultimate currency. 5. Your brain is wired to respond to purpose. This isn't just motivational talk. It's biology. Your limbic brain, the emotional center, drives decisions, trust, and behavior. And that's where why speaks the loudest. So when you lead with purpose, you're literally speaking the brain's native language. 6. Great leaders inspire action by leading with belief. Think Martin Luther King Jr., think Elon Musk, think Oprah. They didn't start with business plans. They started with beliefs. And that's why people followed them. Not because they had all the answers, but because they made us feel something. You can do that too, in your own way, starting today. 7. Your personal why is the foundation of a meaningful life. This is the deepest truth of all. You already have a why. It's in your stories, your struggles, your joy, your journey. You don't need to create it. You just need to discover it. Because once you do, life stops feeling random and starts feeling right. Whether you're building a business, chasing a dream, or just figuring things out one day at a time, remember this: you don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to know your why and take one step from it every day. And if you've made it this far, you didn't just watch a video, you made an investment in yourself. So hold on to these ideas, revisit them often, and most of all, live them. Hey, if even one single moment in this video made you pause, made you reflect, made you feel something, don't let that fade away. That spark you felt, that's your why trying to speak. So do this for yourself. Tap that like button, hit subscribe, because this is just the beginning of your growth journey. And most importantly, grab your own copy of Start With Why using the link in the description below. Seriously, this isn't a book you read once and forget. It's a book you live with, you return to it, you reflect, you grow. Because this isn't about being perfect. It's about being on purpose. And if you're wondering what comes next, if you're ready to turn your why into real-world habits, don't miss our next video on atomic habits. Because here's the truth. Knowing your why is step one, but building it into your life day by day, habit by habit, that's where transformation really begins. So don't stop now. Your purpose matters. Your story matters. And the world, it's waiting to feel your why. Thanks for watching. And thank you for giving this message your time, your heart, and your focus. And remember this. Don't just ask what you do. Ask why you do it. That's where the real greatness begins.